Hey everyone, welcome. We're back for week 2 overview for the Ready Player One for Metagame Book Club. So I'm Chris, as we've met before. So with me tonight as well is, I should say this morning, is Kay. And I'm gonna go ahead and jump over to the slideshow real quick. All right. So as everyone knows, this runs until August 12th. So there's going to be plenty of time for you to work on things and to catch up if you've fallen behind a little bit. So as always, we'd like to thank the Games and Simulations Network for partnering with this, as well as the Inevitable Betrayal Guild for assisting with tours and helping with other virtual and game components that you'll see here. For this week, you're going to focus on level 2. So this is pages 166 to 266 in the textbook. If those of you listening to the audiobook or listening to, or going ahead and watching it on your Kindle or reading on your Kindle, you're going to be basically going ahead and just reading that level 2 piece. And also you're going to be introduced to Zork. So, what is Zork? Well, in addition to being interactive fiction, it's actually one of the best known versions after the Colossal Cave Adventure, and really it was developed in the late 70s. And the biggest thing about Zork that you're going to notice is that it is a text-based game. We have lots of different versions of it, so you can play. There's some browser-based ones. There's other pieces that you can also play on your mobile. We found them. They're available in iTunes as well as on Android, so you can play Zork 1, which is the Underground Cavern, or sorry, the Great Underground Empire. And the thing about this is you're going to be doing a lot of different, you're going to be doing a lot of reading. And you're going to be typing commands, so make sure you read the manual. We did provide the manual, and as you'll find out, the manual is important. As one of the players in Ready Player One will admit to you in his musings. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Kay to talk about interactive fiction.
Okay, now the reason why we're doing really looking at Zork, and we were so happy that it showed up in the book here. The reason why we're doing it is because it is interactive fiction, and the Games and Sim Network, we are doing an interactive fiction jam at the beginning of 2006. Now we don't have all the details put together for our interactive fiction jam, and if anyone is interested, we'd love for you to be on the planning committee. But when we did the book club in March and April. And the thing of it is, when we did the book club in March and April, we had Sherry do her portion on interactive fiction. And interactive fiction is cool because it could be considered literary narrative or a video game. And you use text or links to control your player or the environment. And the reason why we are so into interactive fiction is because we can't help ourselves. We're teachers. Okay, and the reason why we love interactive fiction is because when we're talking about games, the basis of many games is the story or the narrative. So interactive fiction is like going ahead and giving the person the script and having them do it. Okay. And one of the examples is The Gods Will Be Watching. So The Gods Will Be Watching is what we put up on our section of Dystopian Arcade already. And it's a really great example of interactive fiction. And this was actually done at the equivalent of a games jam, meaning people only had 72 hours to create this. So the next thing about it is you can go ahead and play it, and you can go ahead and you can have some fun doing this. Now, if you look at the screen, you'll see the exact text. It'll have the God. See, it's there. The gods have been watching. You survive for 100. You survive for 1 day, and that's an example of me playing it. And as you can see, I didn't get very far. But with interactive fiction, you do get a little bit of graphics. You can have a little bit of graphics there, but it's text, and it's text-based. So we think it's a really good way to get students writing and to get students reading. So on Wednesday, the discussion questions will be going up. And like we did before, we'll have about 3 discussion questions. We'll go ahead and put them up in the Google Plus site. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to have you answer them. And then on Saturday, we'll go ahead and discuss them. And of course, the Foasis is back. And the Foasis are the riddles that Cam is giving you. And with the Foasis, this is the current leaderboard. As you can see, there are 2 riddles up there right now. And one person's gotten the first riddle and the second riddle done. And there's lots of space on the leaderboard. And there's going to be 7 riddles. So there's plenty of time for you to be the top person on the leaderboard because nothing's been determined yet. And of course, we're going to keep playing Ingress. Now, we've had reports from people, some of our people are hitting level 5 already, which we think is really cool. And the reason why we're really pushing Ingress is because we really think that we'll have a chance to get to the end game by the time that ISTE happens. And then we'll have a lot of people at the ISTE conference, and even before then, that we can start talking about the end game. Now, the reason why we want everybody to get to the end game is because of how important and how strategies really happen there. While you might have students that seem like that they're jumping from game to game, you do have students who are dedicating a serious amount of time to just one game and going to and becoming really experts at that one game. And that's when you really get into things like theory craft and statistics and really learning the lore. If you think about how Wade and how H and how Artemis are so involved in learning about Holiday and learning all the little details in the lore behind it and how to do the cheats and all the extra information, that's really what an end gamer does. When somebody's playing at that kind of end game level, they're becoming the experts at it. And with Ingress, we think before the conference, we'll have some people who have an opportunity to be playing Endgame. Now, that would be an example of how Cynthia was when she did the Ingress hangout with us on Wednesday. So, the Dystopian Arcade is officially opening. John Spike has given us the 4 games. So, the 4 games are Paper Please, Half-Life 2, Every Day the Same Dream, and the Republica Times. So, go ahead and go in there. Go ahead and have some fun, play with them. And when I say fun, I mean more engagement. Remember, this is a dystopian arcade. So the situations you're going to get are going to be confusing, puzzling. They're not going to be beautiful and perfect. And one of the reasons is, Wade's world isn't beautiful and perfect. While they might be going in and playing in the game, the world that they're dealing with is harsh. Things aren't going well. And, life on Earth isn't the same as it is right now. So for our social media, please use the hashtag or look for the hashtag metagame, #GBL, game-based learning. And we are using Voxer. In fact, we put out a notice right before this went on. So if you want Voxer, email Trish or or go ahead and tell her your Voxer ID so that you can go ahead and be invited. And for Wednesday, now there is an educators group on Twitter that does Shelfie Wednesday, and they use hashtag Shelfie Wednesday. And what they ask you to do is to take a picture of the book you're reading, and go ahead and on Wednesday go ahead and tweet that out. Now, from one of the people from the Games for Read for Fun group, they have asked if people will consider doing a Periscope. And a Periscope is a broadcast basically that goes to Twitter and asks people to read a passage or a page from whatever book they're currently reading. And I made an attempt on that last week, but I used a Samsung, and Periscope doesn't work well with Samsungs, so I'll be trying from my iPad this week. So if you want to, go ahead and do the same thing. It would end up being very cool. Now, so basically, what we have to say is get ready for this next week's reading. And we do have from the Padlet someone saying that Zork is excellent. Classic text space is a cool niche. And all of this stuff we're giving to you, okay, all of the stuff we're talking about and considering, first of all, it's a fun read, but we really want you to start thinking about yourself as a dungeon master. Now think about this. This whole book is based on the fact that a fictional character decided to put Easter eggs inside his game. He decided to be the dungeon master. And when you're seeing things like, when you're reading the book, when you're looking at the riddles that Cam is putting out, when you're playing Ingress or any of these other games, start imagining yourself, you as the teacher, as the dungeon master. How could you take your content area and leave clues for your students? How could you put a game there? How could you give them something that would motivate them? So we really want you to start putting on your wizard hat and start thinking of yourself as a dungeon master, because you can absolutely do this. You can come up with riddles. You can come up with clues. You can come up with a storyline to go ahead and do that. So this was your week 2 overview, and thank you for watching. We will see you later. Bye.